Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. As a kid, I loved watching storms. I would watch storms roll in over a lake, always protected by the porch, the screened-in porch, or I'd root for snow days, and I'd watch the snow fall from inside the comfort of my living room. The reality is, as I grew up and started living life, storms come in so many ways beyond nature. And as I've interacted with friends and I've heard their stories and their lives, and when I start looking at mine as well, there are storms everywhere, and they're not as fun to watch, and they're never from the comfort of your own living room or protected by the screened-in porch. Recently, my friend Nick was telling me a story about his life and his childhood and how God played into that, how God stepped in through Jesus. See, Nick was telling me that he, as a kid, I had no idea, but he, as a kid, was left by his mom on a park bench. And he talked about the different storms that led to, that this one event, how it affected his life every step of the way. And even now, today, as an adult with a new baby and wife, great family, really cool dog too, it still affects him now. What happened as a kid still affects him now because his relationship with his family is strained. And that storm is something that he will always face. But he shared, too, that it's not all bad. He said at some point in his life, he learned that Jesus calms our storms. See, we're heading towards Easter. And at Easter, Jesus shows us the power that he has over the ultimate storm, death. But Nick talks about the story where Jesus calms a storm with the disciples. It's in Matthew 8:23 through 27. Jesus and his disciples are in a boat, and they're out on the water. Jesus is kind of hanging out. It says Jesus was sleeping, and a fierce storm came, and the disciples were scared. They said, "We are going to drown." And they say, "Jesus, can you save us? Aren't you going to do anything?" Jesus kind of sits up, kind of wipes the sleepies out of his eyes. And he says, "Why are you so afraid? Don't you know who I am?" Jesus calms the storm, calms the wind, calms the waves. And the disciples were amazed. But not only amazed, it says they were also a little bit afraid because Jesus had power over something that nobody else had power over. He controlled nature. So as Nick is talking about his story and the difficulties that he's had in his life, he also says, there's 0 things in my life that I will ever face that Jesus can't also calm. If he can calm nature, he can also help me deal with the stuff in my life, even the very real stuff that I deal with every day. Now, Nick's life has been way more difficult than mine, but let's admit, you and I both have storms. We have things that are outside of our control. We have things that we would wish to not have. We have things that are not the way it was designed to be. But this story in the Bible, as Jesus is teaching the disciples who he is, showing them who he is, that leads us towards Easter, is a challenge for each of us. This week in your faith, consider your journey. And one in your faith journey, admit that we have storms. Our faith journey is not meant to be perfect and clean and straightforward, always sunny days. It's just not the truth, and it's not reality, and it's not authentic. Be willing to admit to some friends, share with God the things that you struggle with, the things that you are dealing with. And then the second thing that Nick talks about in his story is, are you also willing to let go of those things? Are you willing to ask Jesus to calm those storms? And when you're in the middle of them, when things are terrible, it's raining around you, are you willing to give that to Jesus and say, Jesus, I have no idea what to do here. I have no idea how to handle this, but I'm asking you to calm this storm, to calm me and calm my heart. This week, as you prepare for Easter, as you think about what Jesus means in your life, be willing to give of the storms that you have and ask Jesus to calm them.